I want to talk to you about Stripe versus Helcim, and the big question is, which one should you actually choose this year, Helcim or Stripe? So here is an overview. If you think about those two providers, you need to understand that you have scalability, you have reliability, but most importantly, you have safety. And if you are a merchant, you really want to care about safety. Not only safety when it comes to your data, but safety when it comes to your customers' data. Okay. So Helsim and Stripe are both powerful merchant service providers that actually offer zero monthly fees and accept a wide number of payment types. I'm talking about credit cards, I'm talking about debit cards, I'm talking about wire transfers, I'm talking about digital wallets, okay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, and Apple Pay. So when it comes to a Helsim versus Stripe, Helsim actually is the cheaper option with its low interchange plus pricing and automatic volume discounts, while Stripe is actually an excellent online payment processor with numerous integrations. I mean, the cool thing about Stripe is that if you sell online and you have a good if you have a good developer on staff, you will love the API process. Okay, and so one thing I want to say here is that Helsim is actually best for low interchange plus pricing and out of the box solutions, whereas Stripe is best for customizations and wide integrations. I'll explain all this later on, but I just wanted to give you a bird's eye view of this comparison so you can tell which way you want to go, okay? And but one thing for sure, Stripe and Helsim are both well-known, powerful payment processors, okay? But one major difference actually arises between them in the type of merchant account they provide. Stripe offers an aggregated merchant account, whereas Helsim provides a dedicated merchant account. So if you need a merchant account that you can set up and use in a matter of hours, an aggregator like Stripe is best for you. However, if your priority is account stability and you don't mind a stricter application process, Helsim is actually the better option, especially when it comes to scalability. Okay. And one thing I want to say also is that businesses need a merchant account to accept payments, right? A dedicated merchant account is an individual account that is unique to the business. On the other hand, an aggregated merchant account is actually a shared account for multiple businesses under a single account held by a payment facilitator, in this case, Stripe. So if you think about Stripe versus Helsim, what are the alternatives? Just in case the alternatives, in case you think Stripe or Helsim doesn't really cut it for you, you have a lot of other players. Okay, so one thing for sure, you have Square, you have Payment Depot, and you have PayPal. I want to quickly talk about that before I speak about the pricing because, if for any reason you think that the dedicated merchant model is not really what you're looking for, then go with Square, go with Payment Depot, go with PayPal. Okay. And so if you think about Square, for instance, with Square, you have a free, flexible POS system. There is no monthly fee. And for card present transaction fees, you have 2.6% plus 10 cents. And for keyed in transaction fees, you're looking at 3.5% plus 15 cents. Okay. And for e-commerce transaction fees, you are looking at 2.9% plus 30 cents. So that's really that really gives you an idea about how much you could be paying if you were to go with Square. So that's for Square. What about Payment Depot? Well, Payment Depot is great for high volume merchants with large transaction amounts. So don't go with Payment Depot if you're a small time merchant or a small time merchant volume or if a merchant value owner. Okay, because Payment Depot does charge you a monthly fee of $79, 79 to $100, and card present transaction fee interchange plus 8 cents. Keyed the same thing for no keyed transaction fees are interchange plus 18 cents. The same thing for e-commerce transaction fees. So Payment Depot has a pricing model that's similar to what Stacks does have. Okay. What about PayPal? Well, PayPal is actually great for occasional sales. There is no monthly fee, In terms of card present transaction fees, you are looking at 2.29% plus 9 cents. For keyed-in transaction fees, you're looking at 3.49% plus 9 cents. And for e-commerce transaction fees, you're looking at 2.99% plus 49 cents. So that's something to really think about. So now that I spoke quickly about the alternatives, let me go back to the pricing, specifically the pricing for Helcim versus Stripe. Okay, and it's important to have a clear idea. And what I will do is I'll be as granular as possible. I want to show this to you on the screen. So here is a pricing for Helcim versus Stripe. And what I want to do is I want to explain like a step by step what you need to really pay attention to for e-commerce transaction fees, virtual virtual terminal transaction fees, in-person transaction fees, ACH e-check transaction fees, invoice fees, recurring billing fees, international transaction fees, chargeback fees, and card reader. So let me first talk about e-commerce transaction fees. So you can see right off the bat that basically Helcim. Okay, Helcim is way better when it comes to e-commerce transaction fees because Helcim is charging you actually interchange plus 0.15% to 0.5% plus 15 to 25 cents. For Stripe, you are paying 2.9% plus 30 cents. So Helcim is a clear winner here. For virtual terminal transaction fees, you can see again that Helcim actually takes a relatively small edge because you have interchange plus 0.15% to 0.5% plus 15 to 25 cents, same thing. And but Stripe is charging you 3.4% plus 30 cents. For in-person transaction fees, you're looking at interchange plus 0.15 to 0.40% plus 6 to 8 cents. And in terms of Stripe, 2.7% plus 5 cents. Again, here, Helcim seems to win a little bit. Now, for ACH e-check transaction fees, this is where Stripe really dominates big time. Stripe actually charges you 0.8% per transaction, capped at $5 per transaction. For Helcim, you are paying 0.5% plus 25 cents per transaction, and there is no cap, which means that you can be paying $1 billion in terms of ACH e-check transaction fees. But with Stripe, you do have a cap. So that's why Stripe does win in this category. For invoice fees, again, here is an area where basically Stripe does dominate because Stripe is charging you a flat 0.4 to 0.5%, whereas Helcim has a little bit of convoluted pricing. That's interchange plus 0.15% to 0.5% plus 15 to 25 cents. Okay. For international transaction fees, basically Helcim wins because you have card issuer fees only, whereas Stripe is charging you 1.5%. Okay. And for chargeback fees, it's the same thing, $15 for each provider, non-refundable. And the card reader, Helcim is charging you 109, whereas Stripe is charging you 59. So you can see that Stripe actually wins here. Okay, something to think about. So overall, you can really see that it really depends on what you're looking for. I'm showing you on the screen here the Stripe Reader M2, but also the Helcim Card Reader second generation. Okay, $159. The other one, $109. So if you're thinking about Stripe versus Helcim this year, let's talk about the payment types. So if you want to compare and contrast those two providers, you have to really see which payment types is actually suitable to your specific operation. So you have, when it comes to e-commerce, with Stripe, so I will be talking about e-commerce, mobile POS, invoicing, recurring billing, virtual terminal, payment links, ACH processing, and international support. Okay, and so when you think about e-commerce for Helcim, you have a built-in website builder, and you have a food ordering app. The cool thing about Stripe is that you have easy integration or with coding. So here is an area where Stripe is a little better. In terms of mobile POS, you have it with API integration, whereas with Helcim, it's natively included. Okay, it's natively integrated. So Helcim wins here. For invoicing, recurrent billing, virtual terminal, payment links, and ACH processing, those two providers are basically the same. They offer similar services, so they're pretty much the same. Okay. For international support, this is where Stripe really wins big time because Stripe actually covers more than 135 currencies in close to 47 to 50 countries, whereas Helsim is only available in two currencies, two countries. Okay, Helsim is actually more in North America, so that's Canada and the U.S. Okay, those are the two countries that they are in. And in terms of two currencies, you're looking at the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar. So Helsim is not present in a plurality of countries, at least yet. So let me talk to you about Helsim versus Stripe, the features that you can really contemplate having if you were to go with either or. So first thing I want to talk about deposit speed. I want to talk about chargeback protection, chargeback fee, the fraud prevention, PCI compliance, customer service, and the buy now, pay later. Okay. So one thing I want to say here is that I want to start with the buy now, pay later. So here is an area where Stripe really wins because you do have the possibility of having buy now, pay later with Stripe, but you can't have it with Helsim. Okay. In terms of customer service, this is an area where Stripe really wins big time because you do have 24/7 email, phone, and chat support. You have a comprehensive knowledge base, detailed API documentation and FAQs, and you do have a premium support and add-on purchase. You do have some kind of support with Helsim, but not as comprehensive. With Helsim, you have phone and email support Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain time, and Saturday you have 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain time. You do have a knowledge library, okay, but it's not as comprehensive as what you have with Stripe. And in terms of PCI compliance, those two providers are good, okay. Fraud prevention, they're good also. So Helsim does have a Helsim fraud preventer, and for Stripe, you have the Stripe Radar, and those two players do have three fraud prevention protocols: CVV, AVS, and IPV. In terms of chargeback fee, those two are charging you $15 $15. With Helsim, it is refundable. With Stripe, it is non-refundable. So you can see that here, Helsim takes a slight edge. Okay, and there is no chargeback protection with Helsim, but you do have it with Stripe, plus 0.40% per transaction. In terms of deposit speed, 2 business days with Helsim, and with Stripe, you have instant payout 1% fee, and standard 2 to 3 business days. So you can see that overall, basically, they are. It really depends on what you're looking for, whether you want to go for with Helsim or Stripe. Let me give you a few extras here. So when it comes to Stripe versus Helsim, you need to understand what you're really looking for in terms of pricing. Are you looking for some kind of edge around pricing, or ease of use, or user reviews, or integrations? Okay, so in terms of pricing, you can see that basically with Helsim, you have low interchange plus pricing with automatic volume discounts. With Stripe, you have a very affordable option for lower transaction amounts. In terms of ease of use, Helsim is actually good for user friendliness, whereas Stripe is great for developer friendliness. Okay, and so in terms of user reviews, people love the fact that those two platforms are well known and trusted platforms. Okay, so that's really good. And integrations, you do have way more integrations with Stripe than you do with Helsim. So something to really keep in mind. And one thing you need to understand here also is that Stripe actually stands out with its extensive list of integrations and powerful APIs. So if your business requires seamless integration with third-party applications or custom development, you do want to really go with Helcim. However, while offering fewer integrations, Helcim actually provides a user-friendly experience, making it a great fit for businesses that value simplicity. If you value simplicity and ease of use, you want to really think about Helcim. So if you already have a website or prefer to design your own, Stripe allows better customizations through its APIs and SDKs. And Helcim is actually great for you if you prefer a payment solution that can be used quickly with little to no tinkering. So, something to really think about. So, if you think about Stripe versus Helcim, which one should you go for? Again, it depends on what you're looking for, right? Because every provider has its fortes and weaknesses. So, it depends on what you're looking for. For instance, if you're looking for price, Helcim wins because Helcim is generally considered cheaper than Stripe for payment processing due to its interchange plus pricing model and automatic volume discounts, making it a cost-effective choice for many businesses. Okay, and one thing you also need to understand here is that so that's a biggie, right? Now there are certain things that Stripe offers that Helcim does not. Let me give you an example. Stripe offers several features and capabilities that Helcim does not, including extensive integrations, customizations, instant payouts, buy now, pay later payment options, and wider international support. I told you a little earlier that with Stripe, you have 135 to 150 currencies, and you have like you are in more than 50 countries, close to 50 countries, whereas Helcim is only in two and only has two currencies. So that's really like for you to choose either or. It depends on what your priorities are for your business, but also your vision. Okay, so in it's one of those things where you have to understand that Helcim is great for affordability, and Stripe is great for what I call integration. Okay, integration. Helcim is great for user friendliness, and Stripe is great for developer friendliness. Okay, so if you care about your users, I mean everybody cares about their users, but if you want to really focus on user friendliness, you definitely want to go with Helcim. Okay, but if you want to have a solution with more internet with a more international orientation, Stripe is definitely the best provider for you. Okay, I mean Helcim also does not have a 24/7 customer service. Okay, they are only open from 8 to 5 or 9 Mountain Time, and if you want to really access, if you want to talk to someone outside of working hours, it's just better to have a provider such as Stripe. As a recap into this conversation, I talked to you about Stripe versus Helcim. I give you the overview, the rivals, the extras, and now the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.